Welcome, everyone. I think we can start the meeting now. So, I am Shifra. I am the PR officer at UDS. I think everyone knows that, but if you don't, then nice to meet you. Today, we're joined by Josh Bristow. I hope I said your name correctly. Yes, so he is a Unisa graduate as well. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computing, and he is currently a software developer at Games Global. And he's going to just share some knowledge with us, his background, and then we'll have a short Q&A session at the end. So I'll leave it to you to take over now, Josh.
Perfect. Thanks, Shifra. Thanks so much for having me. Thank you everyone else for joining. I know it's in the middle of a day, a lot of people, especially at work. So I do appreciate you guys taking your time out to be here. I got reached out to on LinkedIn just to see if I'd come do this. And honestly, I thought it's a brilliant idea. I don't think we had this when I was at Unisa. If we did, I wasn't too aware of it. So it's a great initiative, and I'll be happy if I can just help at least one person just with some insights of my journey, how I got to where I am, how I landed my first job. So a bit about me. I'm Josh. I'm 32 years old. I graduated in 2022 from Unisa, and I'm now a software developer at Games Global, which is one of the biggest iGaming companies in the world. So I'll just skip over the non-interesting stuff while you're not here. So I basically thought I was going to study to be an accountant. Through that school, I took accounting. I never took IT. I started at Stellenbosch for as soon as I finished school. I went and started an accounting degree there. I had to drop out, unfortunately, and my first experience with Unisa came there where I decided, okay, I'm going to do financial accounting through Unisa. I didn't end up finishing that degree. I think I burnt out with accounting. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. So like a lot of people, I was just kind of lost. I found jobs in logistics, wherever I could earn a salary. And until 24 years old, I decided, you know what, I need to have a direction. I'm going to apply for Unisa. I want to work with computers. So 24, I applied and I got accepted for the BSc in computing. I started in 2019 was my first year. And my wife and I decided we're gonna pack up and we're gonna move to China. So I studied full time while she was working. I had no tech experience. I didn't know if the BSc in computing was what I wanted. It was just I made a decision, I stuck with it, and started going forward from there. I'm sure everyone remembers what happened in 2020 with COVID because we were caught in the middle of that at China. So again, packed up, came back to South Africa. I was still studying full time, but now back here, my wife didn't have a job. I had to find a job. So Unisa was the perfect gateway for me. Could work full time and then finish work, get home in the evening, and start studying. So I actually found work at an ISP, internet service provider, just as a general support technician. I worked there for about 2 years, and then I moved to a MSP, where it's managed service provider, so doing all the IT work. Still doing my degree, trying to apply for any software engineering jobs, software development jobs that I could find. And I was met with silence for the entire 4 years I studied at Unisa. It was tough. I didn't think I'd ever make it into the industry. If I tell you I sent out over 200, 300 applications, I'm probably underestimating. That takes me to the end of 2022 when I did my last exams. Throughout the period, if I'm honest, I failed a few modules. I had to rewrite a few modules. Even in 2022, I think I failed, I want to say advanced programming in my 2022 year, and I had to rewrite it in Jan of 2023 or Feb of 2023, where I eventually ended up passing. So everything was great. Got my degree, and I was still working at MSP. I couldn't, no matter what I did, couldn't find any work as a software developer. It was extremely tough. I started getting very demotivated. It wasn't a great time. I think the problem with that though is I kept on applying for junior dev roles, and with the current South African job markets, junior dev roles are very competitive. There's a lot of CS graduates coming out at the moment. And for myself, I had no specific work experience. I had no projects that I'd worked on that I could use for my CV. And I'd pretty much given up at that point. I thought I was just going to work as an IT support technician for as long as I could tell. I was actually considering moving overseas to see if I could have better prospects. Um, that's when I found out about graduate programs. I thought I would be at a disadvantage because I was 30 years old, and I did get a few rejections straight off the bat, but I was getting replies. And the graduate program for Games Global was I had someone that I knew that was working inside here, and they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, Games Global is running a graduate program. They're going to start the jobs off for next year, but you need to apply now." So I think I sent my CV through on the last day of the process, and they liked my video interview, so we had to submit a video of ourselves talking about what we do, who we are, and started progressing in September, I want to say 2023, so 9 months after I'd finished my degree. That was the most I've ever heard from anyone. Most of the graduate programs straight away said no. They weren't happy with my age. But Games Global wanted me. So it was a 2-month interview process with Games Global. For the graduate program, it was a coding assessment, it was a psychometric assessment, it was interviews with various teams that were interested in hiring me. It was long, but it was the first hope I had. And I eventually got the job. That's where I am, where I am now. But to take you back to what I thought, well, what I've been told for why I got this job is because we had our take-home assessments. And now, for those of you who don't know what the Towers of Hanoi are, it's a game. I'm just going to share my screen with you quickly just so you don't have to Google it. You know what I'm talking about. Shifra, can you see my screen there?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, perfect. So basically, our take-home assessment was to, from scratch, build this game. Now, those of you who don't know, Towers and Noi, you got 3 prongs here, you got this many discs, and you got to move all of these discs from first prong to the third prong without a bigger disc ever being on a smaller disc. Now, the easy part is the algorithm. There's algorithms online that you can go grab and you just put into your code and it works. What got me past that stage is that I didn't just design the game for them, because we had to do a variable amount of discs. So you had to do from 3 discs up to 10 discs. Now, I sat there and I got everything working and I said, cool, let me just test it out. And I went, okay, 3 discs, cool, it takes X amount of time. 4 discs, a little bit longer. By the time you get to 6 or 7 discs, the algorithm takes so long that you're sitting there for 20 minutes. And all I did was I went, okay, cool. I'm a user. I hate to see this. I'm going to go add a speed up button. And I got my job offer, obviously because I had some coding skills, but my senior dev has told me multiple times, because I added a speed up button and there he was set. That was it. He wanted me to come through to the team because I understood the user experience. And it's small stuff like that. So a lot of you are going to get coding assessments. Some of you are going to have to do them in person. I'm not a huge fan. Don't put me on the spot. I'd rather work with the tools that I need and go from there. But it was not just doing what was asked of it. It was going the extra step and showing you understand what the user would experience and how they would experience it, sitting there, making sure that your 10 discs are going to take 20 minutes does the algorithm properly. So it was just that little bit gave me the edge over everyone else. I'm not the strongest developer in the world. I'm happy to admit that. I work with a lot of guys who will do what would take me 2 weeks. It'll take them an hour. I do work in a team of seniors, so that's a little bit expected, but I have always been willing to learn, and I've been willing to just take the extra step to make sure it's perfect. I don't need to follow the brief. I can go further than the brief. So if you find yourself in that situation, do a little bit extra, send the code through. I sent my code through twice because I wasn't happy with the first edition or the first iteration. So yeah, like I said, I've been told multiple times that was the reason that I got through my assessments was because of that. And then they also complained that a lot of assessments that come through don't even build, don't open up. So if you're doing coding assessments for an interview, just make sure it runs. Yeah. So a little bit, I can't talk too much about what I do here at work, unfortunately. It is a heavily restricted information center. So it's not, yeah, I can't tell you too much. Basically, I do a lot of new features on games. I've built games from the ground up and released them. My daily life is literally figure out a new feature, build it, do a bug fix, do a hot fix if there's something that brings one of our games down, and then a lot of meetings. You got to be prepared to. There's a lot of meetings that the direction will change, and you'll build a game, and the next day that game will be what's that? I can't think of the word. Um, Not needed, pretty much. It's very interesting. It's very fun work. And I would actually say the working environment it's a lot harder than university. University doesn't prep you fully for getting into a dev job, unfortunately. So they give you the skills, but you don't know what it's going to be like until you get in the job. And it's been for me now 2.5 years of consistent learning every single day. I look back to what I could do on the first day, so after 3 years of university versus what I can do now, and it's two completely different people. You're going to learn a lot better when you're on the job, um, and it's obviously to get the job, you got to have those skills, which I think is what nice about the graduate program because no one actually expects anything from you. So as a graduate, you get in, you're hired because they think you've got some skills, and they know they want to work with you, which is a very important part about finding a job as a developer. Is you got to be workable with you. When you interview, they're looking at you like, can I sit next to this person for 8 hours, for 40 hours a week? I know I can train them up to be a better developer, but you need to work on the soft skills before you get in there first. So I basically started as a grad developer in 2024, and I got promoted to a Dev 1 in 9 months. So it took me from Jan 2024, and then September 2024, I got promoted to developer level 1, got my permanent job offer, as grad programs are usually only a year, and then they will see if they like you along the way, offer you a permanent position from there. Just for advice side before we head into Q&A, when you land a job, I'm going to say it's going to be hard. I think about 25% of grads are unemployed, but if you flip that around, that means 75% are employed. So there is a very likely choice of CS majors. Sorry, there is a very high chance of you finding work. Once you get into work, that's where the real hard work starts, and that's where you need to show why you're worth it. So my biggest advice I give to all the new graduates that come into Games Global is if you have senior developers, you need to sit there by your senior developers and bug them for all the knowledge they're worth. You don't go to them with a question saying, I don't know. You go to them with a question saying, I'm trying this. I've done it this way. I've tried this way. It keeps on doing this. What is your suggestion? It's about coming to them, showing that you've done some work and not just going on and leaning on them. It's pretty much you making sure you look into it. That's where you develop your problem solving skills, and going from there. which also brings me on to the second point of the current reliance on AI. We're actually seeing it a lot with junior developers, where they will put every problem into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT might solve it. It might not be the best way, but it gives you a solution. The problem is you're not developing any problem-solving skills yourself. So right now, while you're in university, I'd highly recommend using ChatGPT as a tool rather than a crutch. You will find very quickly that it is taking away from your actual skills as a developer. When you're a senior developer, it's fine. You know what you're doing. You've been doing it long enough. As a junior developer, we still don't know enough to know what ChatGPT is putting out, and it's taking away from your learning. So use it to give you ideas. Use it to be like a mentor. So tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm building this. I've tried this, and I'm getting this error. I think it might be this. What are your thoughts? Rather than saying, how do I do this? You'll find you'll learn a lot more quickly, and you'll actually build real-world skills that can stick with you rather than a one-off that you're never going to remember. And the issue might pop up in 3 years, and you're going to be like, well, I don't remember what happened last time. The second big piece of advice is to build real products, especially for your CV. As a graduate, usually our CVs mine was empty. I had technical support work. If you're trying to become a developer, HR doesn't care that you've done technical support. They don't care that you've been a branch manager at a logistics factory. If there's no development experience there, they don't really know how to grade you. And when I say build a real project, I don't mean build a calculator or build a weather app that's calls an API somewhere and tells you the weather. It's not good enough. When you're building projects, realistically, the projects, when you start it, you should be like, I don't know how to do this. It's sometimes it's tough coming up with that idea, but there is a guy that I can recommend if you have LinkedIn. So this is John Crickett. I've done a few of his projects. So he's got his LinkedIn, and he's got a codingchallenges.substack.com website. You'll see he's got Coding Challenge 112. You can go all the way back to Coding Challenge number 1. And they are difficult challenges, but they get you to build an app that you don't think you can build. It's the same type of work that I've done here in my job. I've always been given a choice. I can do the easy bug fix, or I can do the more difficult building a game from ground up. And I'll instantly take the harder option. I know in that moment that I have no idea what I'm going to do, but that's where you learn the most. So I've done a few projects like that. I do believe it's helped a lot in developing myself as a software dev, and it helps with my image in the company as well. You take that task, you don't know what's happening, and you go, okay, I need to break this into smaller tasks, and you just break it down into smaller and smaller tasks until you know, perfect. I know how to console log something. I'm going to start console logging it, and then from there you build it up. Okay, I can show you our console log. It's just breaking it down into those tiny little pieces, getting to a point where you know that you can do that point, and you'll just do this point, and you'll do that part of the project, that part, until you get to a point where you say, okay, I actually can do it. And that's how most of my projects have started here at work. So highly recommend having a look at John Crickett. I see Shifra sent the links in the chat there. Give him a look. You don't have to do it in one day. He usually tells the people following him just take about a week, see what you can get done, and then go from there. He does update it quite frequently. He's still going. You can subscribe to his newsletter. He sends it out every Saturday with a new challenge, and then you can pick it up and see what you can do with it. Another skill, I mean, you'll probably read it online if you are searching, but master one language. Don't try to learn Python and C# and JavaScript and. Pick one language, stick to it, and become a master in it. Learning new languages is the easy part. I didn't know JavaScript before I started this job, and now I exclusively use JavaScript, TypeScript. I moved off of a Python background, C# background. Um, it's the real skill for a software dev is the problem solving. It's not the language that you use. You can do anything with pretty much any language. Um, it's pick one language, master it, use that language to build every one of your projects, and I promise you, you'll become 10 times of a developer than someone who's trying to learn 20 different languages at once. Then yeah, last part before I head into Q&A. Just on that's been a bit quick. Sorry, I'm not a huge fan of public speaking, but like I said, I wish I had this opportunity to speak to someone who was a software developer who'd gone through the same process that I've been through, who's had the same imposter syndrome that I had when I was in university. I finished my degree, and for the 12 to 10 months, the 9-10 months that I was applying for jobs, every single job I applied for, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't a good enough developer. I'm going to get in, I'm going to get fired because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to get a job because I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be happy to tell you that imposter syndrome never goes away. I've still got it on a daily basis. I've got software architects who are 20 years on the job, they still get imposter syndrome. So it's never going to go away. It's just something you got to learn to manage yourself. You're always going to think you're not good enough, and that you don't know how you're going to get this done. And that's a good thing. It means it means that you're actually challenging yourself. You're growing as a developer. My architect has told me many times that the day that you don't have imposter syndrome anymore, you're doing something wrong. You're not challenging yourself. You're not becoming a better developer. So you just embrace it. You know that some days are going to be worse than others, but you put your head down and you carry on going. That's about all from my side, just regards to how I got to where I am. I don't know if you want me to chat about anything else, if you want to open up for Q&A.
No, thank you so much, Josh. Your presentation was amazing. I'm sure everyone can agree with me that there's a lot to take away from that conversation. And I think it's really important for us as Unisa students to have examples like you, to show that it is possible. Because I think with the university that we go to, it's always like, oh, you're going to struggle to find a job, you don't come from a big university. So having someone that's been through the same degree, the same university, and got a job at one of the biggest companies in the world is very inspiring to everyone. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to everyone today. And then I'll just open up the floor to any questions. So if you have a question, you can just raise your hand, and then Josh, you can pick who to go first and second. I think we'll just go in order maybe. But yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Then if anyone wants to put up their hands, I'm happy to have a chat. Obviously, with my current work, I can't share too much, but I can give high level, and any other advice, anything else anyone wants. And if there's anyone that really does want to speak in the Teams meeting, add me on LinkedIn, pop me a DM on there, and I'll be happy to answer. Yes, I can't see your first name, but Malongani.
Oh, yeah. So, uh, hello to everybody. And my question was, like, how much mathematics are you using? Because you are learning maths, and it's difficult. But I want to know how much math are you using in your workplace and stuff.
Listen, it's not a lot. There are sometimes we'll use some trigonometry, but that's basically just because we're working in gaming. Sometimes we just got to have something fly at a certain angle. So it's not a lot of maths, but for me, from the math side, what I take away from there is the problem solving you learn from maths. So it's hard, it's tough, but it's more, yeah, it's the skills you take away from the math more than the actual math that you're doing, because we don't use it a lot at all.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Cool. Okay. De Villiers?
Hey, thanks for talking that. I wanted to find out, just in general, AI has become such a huge thing within the software space. How often in the real world do you find yourself actually using these tools in like a day-to-day fashion?
All the time. That's why I kind of put out the warning about relying on it too much. Our company is very much AI focused. So we have access to pretty much every AI tool you can think of. I've got on this laptop that I'm meeting on right now, I've got Claude Code installed. I've got GitHub Copilot. I've got ChatGPT. We've got the enterprise licenses for everything you can think of, from image generation, video generation, code generation. So it is heavily used, but I do recommend right now while you're in university as well, and when even for myself in the junior stages, use it as a tool rather than a crutch. You'll thank me in the long run, I promise you. Musa?
Oh, hi Josh and everyone. Okay, I have two questions. So the first
Sure.
one, it's I'll go back to when you said we should, when you advised us that we should try to use our seniors as much as we can to learn from them and engage with them on like the problems that we already have, and to sort of ask for advice from them as to what approach would they take in maybe a specific problem that you're bringing to them. So like I want to know, like, how do you balance asking them for help versus trying not to look like you're completely lost, or like also you not pestering them too much? Because I try not to use ChatGPT as much as I can, but like that is I like, it is quite unavoidable. Sometimes I will be faced with a problem that is so difficult that the only way for me, like, to go about it is to actually ask it, because googling it doesn't really uh, um give me a straight up solution as to how to solve it.
Yeah. Good question. As to asking too much, it comes down to the type of questions you're asking. So in my team, I've got probably the smallest team in the company, so we are split up into different studios. I have 4 seniors in total, so 2 senior software developers and 2 software architects. I ask multiple questions per day, and I never go to them. Like I said, I never go to them with a question where I haven't tried to solve it myself. So if you are surrounded by good seniors, they're not gonna mind, as long as you're asking the right club questions. I've had days where I've asked 10 to 15 questions for that day. And it does get hard. I struggle myself, feeling like I'm bothering them. But at the end of the day, a good senior will be there, will be happy to take your questions, give you an answer, or at least push you in the right direction. I mean, I've been told explicitly, ask away, just make sure I've done some work myself. So it'll depend on the seniors you get. Obviously, not everyone is as helpful and is willing to help you. And in that case, it's quite unfortunate. There's not much you can do. But regards to your ChatGPT, I would use ChatGPT before Google, if I'm being honest. So if I want to know something about a game engine, so we use a game engine in the background that's based in JavaScript. And I want to know, does it have a method to call so that I can do a certain thing? ChatGPT scraped the internet already, so it's gone through all those Reddit threads. It's gone through all those what's that other one where everyone's not the nicest, Stack Overflow. It's gone through all of that already, so it can give you a quicker answer. But the point from there is, once it gives you the answer, you should go verify it yourself. So you know that this method does this. Go look it up in the W3 docs. Look it up online. Make sure it does exactly what you're looking for it to do.
Okay, thank you very much. And then
Sure.
one last question. You've mentioned that we should, instead of hopping through like many languages, programming languages, we should just pick one and stick with it and try to master that one programming language. So
Yes.
like as a junior or as someone who hasn't even graduated yet, what does mastering one language look like for a junior? Like does
For a
it
junior, it
mean
doesn't exist. So it's it's a high goal to aim for. That is not okay. Listen, there are people who will master a language at a junior level. Most of us aren't on that level. Those are very rare unicorns. When I say master a language, I mean you work solely in that language. You know how to solve different problems that you can make. You can work with object-oriented programming, so you know how all classes work, and you can build a fairly complex application out of it. So you're comfortable enough where a senior could come to you and say, "Hey, I need you to." I can't think off the top of my head right now, but I need you to build this feature. Can you do it? And you just need to know, yes, I know how this works for the language. It's more about learning the problem solving by doing software development skills, because learning Python and JavaScript and C# is not going to make you a better programmer. It's going to make you know a little bit more for each one. But like I said, I stuck with Python for a while. I was comfortable in Python. I could build a small game for my coding task for work when I was doing the interview, and I was comfortable enough to do that, so that when I got into the job, I could switch over to JavaScript, because that was the easy part. Neuron.
Hi, Joshua.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Joshua, I want to ask you, being a graduate from Unisa, do you feel that the qualification is equips you enough to, to be successful, like in the workplace? Like, do you learn enough from? Because I mean, if you look at the tests that you do, with Python, it's MCQ. You don't really build a lot of applications and stuff like that. I'm talking from a second year level right now. So
Yeah.
I'd like to know, do you feel that you need to have that your own portfolio?
Yes. Listen, Unisa is great for what it offers. Like I said, I had to work full time. I had bills to pay. I couldn't go to university full time. So Unisa is good in the sense that it offers you the opportunity to get a degree, which a lot of HR filters look at now. It does not fully prepare you for work. That is why I've suggested building your own projects. I've talked to the guys in my office who've gone to Tikkies, Stellies, and the work that they did, where they were given deadlines, they had to do group work, they had to build actual applications rather than there's no such thing as multiple choice. So it's good for the CV. It's better than not having a degree. It is a good degree. It does teach you some skills. It doesn't teach you enough to fully integrate to the workplace straight away. That you need to do by yourself, by building those extra projects, by following some tech channels. Go onto a YouTube channel, follow a guy that does coding. There's Reddit forums where people offer mentorship, Discord channels, everything like that.
Thank you, Josh.
Give me if I don't say this right, Leshlo Honolo. Leshlo, you there?
I was muted. Okay. You mentioned you struggled to find your first developer job, right? So if you were to do it again, what would you do differently?
If I had to do it again, I would focus a lot on the networking side of things. There's a lot of people I've seen get jobs through keeping up their social media like LinkedIn. So go on LinkedIn, add 500 technical recruiters at every company you can think of, add technical recruiters from especially your companies that offer graduate programs. A graduate program will be your easiest way into the field because the expectations are a lot lower, and you're not expected to have any work experience or professional software dev experience. And then from there, post on LinkedIn what you're doing. Build an app, and from day one of the app, you start building. You say, I'm working on this. This is how I'm doing it. Day 2 or week 2, if you don't want to do daily. I know a lot of people aren't big on social media, and just get your name out there. There are a lot of technical recruiters watching LinkedIn every day. And then if you are applying for your graduate programs from either your banks like your FNB, Standard Bank, Nedbank, I know they all do their graduate programs. Try find someone in the company that can get you in contact with the graduate recruiter. So just get their name and pop them a nice, polite DM on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I've been interested in your company. I'm applying for the graduate program. Hope this receives you well. Thank you." Just get your name out there. Make sure people know what you're doing, and then everything is online now. There's no walking into companies and giving your CV. You need to have an online presence, especially as a software dev with no experience.
All right. Okay, Mara.
Yeah.
Back to
Yes.
Back to projects. Yeah. You did say making projects helps a lot. Mara, how do we verify with our projects were not done by AI or copied from
They
someone?
don't. You can tell. AI codes in very specific ways, and AI outputs a lot of slop. So you're going to have your projects. They're going to see, especially if you're putting on your GitHub, you're going to see the source. It's very easy to tell when you've written the code using AI purely. It does a lot of things that it doesn't need to do. It adds a lot of bloat to your code base, stuff that would be considered technical debt in the future if you expanded on the project. You're not. It can. So I say it would be easy. Sorry, I lied. You can get away with it. But if you get into the job, you're going to be exposed if you're not allowed to use AI. I know that a few companies that don't allow you to, whereas companies like Games Global push you in the direction of using it. But at the end of the day, it's for your own learning. So if you're going to do a project fully AI, that's fine. That's up to you. To grow yourself, I'd recommend doing it yourself.
No, thank you.
Moshlaze? You there?
So can I please request again when I get home?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if we will be online still, but if we're not, just pop me a LinkedIn with your question. I can answer for you.
Okay.
Maybe just I'll pop my profile into the chat so long, just if anyone wants to reach out to me.
Oh, Josh,
Priscilla?
I put it in the chat already,
Yes.
so
Oh, did
that's
you?
okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Priscilla?
Hello, Josh. Good afternoon.
Are they?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to ask about the project. What type of project would you recommend for someone who hasn't graduated yet? Portfolio project.
Yeah, portfolio project. Listen, it needs to be something with a bit more substance. And this is where I'm going to go, not against, but against what I've said previously. Use AI in this sense. So go to ChatGPT and say, I am a developer with this much experience. I want to build towards my portfolio. Give me some meatier, chunkier, more complicated projects that I can start with a simple base and build up to the project. It's off the top of my head, it's very difficult to give you an example of what to build. But in this case, this is where I would use AI as the tool to point you in the right direction, because it already knows what those type of projects need to be.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. B. Mia. B. Mia, are you muted? All right, I can't hear anything if you are talking.
Same from my side. There's no audio coming from them.
Okay, I see they put their hands up.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anyone else, any questions at all? Yeah, just give me a shout.
Oh, there's one more
Yes.
question.
There we go. Yeah. Mologani.
Yeah, so that's question. Like, you said that you had a hard time finding an internship few years back, and AI wasn't so advanced back then. I wanna ask, like during these times, how likely is it for a student who hasn't even graduated yet, like in their second year, like how likely is it for him to get an internship? Because I've realized that it is harder in overseas like England and America, but I don't know how is it in South Africa. And also, are there any like second year, third year interns at your own company?
So internships we don't really do here in South Africa. Our Estonia branch does it. As for finding internships, they can be easy in the sense that you'll find some that want to pay you next to nothing to do the work for them. If you have the time and you're living at home and you don't have any bills to pay, I would actually highly recommend it. I'm usually one that will fight against low pay. I don't like taking advantage of people, but unfortunately, to get that step ahead, the internship would help you a lot on your CV and when you finish your degree and you're looking for full-time work. I hope that answers your question. Lita, and then I see there's a question in the chat afterwards. Lita Mshlangulu. Lita might be muted, so let me just check. Junior asked, do you suggest as we move forward, we should consider getting free certificates such as MCP, AI certs as well? Also, how important is for one to participate in hackathons? So certificates are never going to hurt you. They will always build towards your case. They don't replace work experience. Unfortunately, the big thing that everyone is looking for, if you're not looking at a graduate program, is some sort of work experience. So it'll make you stand out, having your certificate. And if you've got the means to, 100% go for it. And then hackathons, yes, join them. I know Games Global does hackathons. If you can put a hackathon on there, if you can put on your LinkedIn that you've gone to this hackathon, you've done this, do it. It will elevate you. It'll elevate you above that point.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lita. I think you're breaking up there. I think your connection might be bad there, Lita. You're getting one word through every 20
Later.
seconds. Oh, there we go.
So,
Can you? Your connection keeps breaking up. Do you want to pop your message in the chat?
of the salary.
Okay, I'm gonna move on for
Can
now.
you hear
Just
me
to
now?
not hold it up. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lita, I'm gonna
Also,
move on just to not hold it up. If you want to pop your question in the chat there, and then I'll answer your question from there. Mashlatse?
okay, so sir, I wanted to ask, as a developer like you, so how about if I don't focus on, like, I don't pay my full attention on all the modules, like theoretical computer science, because those modules, I don't think I will need them in future, you see. So I don't know if like I should only focus on certain modules or just focus on all the modules.
Listen, at the end of the day, you're going to have to pass all your modules. I would be lying if I didn't say I favored certain modules over others. I think there was one specific scenario where I just didn't sit in the exam because I had a harder module the day after, so I'd rather study for that, and I just redid it. But it has to be done. You've got no choice to complete your degree. You have to finish every module. I did put more attention into the harder modules for myself, like computer graphics, advanced programming. And I did end up with about a 70% aggregate, which I know is a minimum requirement for some of the graduate programs. So yes, focus on some of the harder modules, the modules you think are going to be more useful. Don't ignore the other modules to the point where it could be an easy distinction and you don't work on it because you don't think it's worth it.
Okay, like say, for example, let's just say like theoretical computer science or maybe computer networks. So I don't think I'll need.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm going to need that module in the workplace? Like
Yes.
when I'm working?
Yeah. It might not be relevant in your day-to-day job, but it will help you in the long run. Specifically, things like computer networking, 100%. Computer networking, computer architecture, it will be in your best benefits to study for those modules properly. Networking and architecture will become a big part of your life, especially as you step up into more senior roles as a software developer.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Okay, Lita, I see your question there. Josh, I wanted to ask you about the starting salary range of an intern in your company. I'm not allowed to give specific details. I don't know what the interns earn. Like I said, they're only in Estonia. As a software developer graduate, I can't give you a figure. It'll land me in some trouble, but say you're earning more than the average salary for South Africans. Okay, I'm having trouble with my mic. As a graduate, do you have the luxury of picking a niche, cybersecurity, data engineering, etc.? If so, do we build projects for the specific niche we want, or should we build more general projects to increase our chances of getting a job? As a graduate, you can pick any niche you want. It just depends how many jobs are wanted or needed for that specific niche. Something like cybersecurity, which I've actually also been very interested in. It's very hard to break into with no experience because you need networking experience beforehand. So cybersecurity, I would say, this as a rung above something like networking, where you need the networking base first, and then you can move into cybersecurity from there. I know with our graduate program, you can choose between data analysis, AR, working with AR, software engineering. So you don't need, like I said, you don't need experience to apply for those roles. But if I was you, I would focus on building those projects towards a specific niche, if that's your interest. If we're going to be honest with ourselves, it's a lot easier to work on a project that you are actually emotionally invested in, rather than a project where you're doing for the sake of doing. It's going to end up in the pile of work that doesn't get completed. So pick a niche if you want to and build projects towards that. If you enjoy it, go for it. Perfect. Shlase, are you still hands still up, or can I move to B Satole?
I said we can move. It's a mistake.
Okay, B Satole.
Hello, and to everyone too. As you can see that on the internet, a lot of people are getting jobs in tech without having a qualification or a degree. Do you think that our degree is slowly becoming useless?
It's becoming more needed. So there are places like We Think Code. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, that offer a boot camp experience. With the current environment, having a degree listed on your CV is almost becoming mandatory. So unless you are with a code boot camp that is guaranteeing you a job afterwards because they've got a relationship with certain companies, having a degree will get you further. So it will help you further down the line when you're going for promotions. It'll help you getting your stepping past that AI filter when they're scanning your CV. So no, definitely it's not falling away, and I don't think it'll fall away anytime soon.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then my other question is that there are some careers that I've been looking at, and they need things like SQL, Python, and C hashtags, which is something that we do not do here at Unisa. So do you suggest that we do them now at the same time, that when we are done with our degree, we both have skills and a qualification in order for us to be able to like get jobs easier?
So that comes back to my earlier point about mastering one language. So SQL, I don't really consider it about a language. Anything we do in SQL now at work is AI. AI is very good at SQL. It's a very easy language for it to work in. C# is your C hashtag, so C#, is one of the languages that I was playing around with because I enjoy it. But again, it's easy to switch over to C# from another language. I think Unisa does it right, making the programming modules use C++, because C++ is it's a harder language to understand compared to something like Python. So no, don't worry about all of that now. When you start applying for jobs, you know that you can code in C++. If the job requirement says C#, go do a little read up on C#, change your CV to say C#, and then if you get the job, you learn between then and moving into your permanent role.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Josh, for attending the session today. I think we finished right on time. And I've put Josh's LinkedIn in the chat, and he also put it there as well. And then I also put the LinkedIn for the
coding challenges.
Yes, the coding challenges. So you guys can access that. And then I also did record the session, so I will share the link with everyone afterwards. But thank you so much, Josh, again. And we hope you have a good day further. And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone else for taking your time out to be part of this. I'm happy that I could hopefully provide some insight. And please, if you want, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I usually reply within a day. I'm more than happy to give advice. I've been in your scenario. I know how tough it can be, how daunting it can be. So any little help, please reach out to me. And yeah, I'll be happy to help.
Thank you so much
Sorry,
again,
guys.
John.
Before you go, you're gonna share the recording. Can you hear
Sorry,
me?
I didn't quite hear you.
I said, where are you gonna share the recording?
I'm going to share it in the WhatsApp channel for UDS, and then I'm also going to share it on the UDS social, so on LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.